faint alarm blinked on a screen inside the Sturgis, Michigan infant formula plant in late 2021. So quick, it barely drew attention. A routine environmental swab had tripped a zero-tolerance alert. Chronobacter detected. In a facility responsible for nearly 40% of the nation's formula supply, even a whisper of this bacterium is supposed to halt everything. Chronobacter doesn't need much. A few surviving cells on a dry surface, a drop of condensation, a temperature drift of 2 degrees to slip past defenses built to keep it out. Yet the alert was treated as a manageable deviation, something the next sanitation cycle would wipe clean. But the signals didn't stop. Across the next several weeks, new positives appeared. Different rooms, different shifts, different equipment zones that should never share microbial risk. When environmental data forms a scatter pattern like this, it means the barrier is no longer holding. Inside the plant, that pattern blended into routine paperwork. Outside it, families would soon feel the consequences. By early winter, parents in Minnesota and Ohio were rushing infants to hospitals with symptoms that escalated in hours. Violent dehydration, sudden lethargy, fevers rising fast enough to shock physicians, who rarely associate such cases with powdered formula. One infant tested positive for Chronobacter. Another had consumed formula from a lot produced within the same manufacturing window. The connection wasn't proven. But it wasn't distant either. Meanwhile, the physical conditions inside Sturgis were shifting in ways the public couldn't see. Moisture was accumulating under equipment frames designed to stay dry. Condensation cycles, 6 to 10 hours long, were forming and evaporating, the exact pattern Chronobacter uses to survive on surfaces that look clean. A sanitation zone logged a temperature dip small enough to overlook, but large enough to matter. These weren't catastrophic failures. They were conditions, the kind in which catastrophic failures eventually find room to grow. Then came the turning point. During an inspection, regulators documented standing water beneath a dryer handling critical raw materials. In dry mix formula production, standing water is not a minor violation. It collapses the microbiological perimeter, protecting the entire process. This should have triggered immediate containment. Instead, it became an item on a growing corrective action list. At the same time, a whistleblower report submitted months earlier, detailing concerns about testing reliability, documentation practices, and the handling of deviations, was still moving slowly through review channels. Time, already stretched thin, continued slipping. And in food safety, delays measured in weeks can reshape outcomes measured in lives. By February 2022, the system could no longer absorb the pressure. The Sturgis plant shut down. Initial recalls were announced, targeted, precise, then expanded as investigators connected production dates, shift logs, and distribution routes. Formula began disappearing from shelves within days, not weeks. Parents drove across state lines, searching for alternatives. Hospitals reported caregivers diluting formula to stretch dwindling supplies. The microbial risk inside one plant had cascaded into a nationwide emergency. The scientific twist came next. Genetic sequencing revealed that not every clinical strain matched the environmental strains found inside the plant. Some were close, some were not. But the mismatch didn't erase the core truth. A critical facility had accumulated unresolved risk conditions over months, and once the system finally reacted, the infrastructure supporting infant nutrition proved far more fragile than anyone expected. This crisis was never about a single event. It was about stacked warnings, temperature drifts, moisture cycles, positive swabs, delayed investigations, incomplete corrective actions. Each one small enough to manage, but collectively powerful enough to destabilize a country's most sensitive supply. It exposed how safety culture can weaken quietly, not through dramatic failures, but through ordinary decisions made under pressure, repeated over time. And it revealed how little redundancy exists in a system built around a few massive plants producing a product parents cannot replace. When one facility falters, the entire nation feels the vacuum. Imports had to be fast-tracked. Other manufacturers ran at maximum output. Regulators rewrote timelines in real time. Consumers navigated scarcity they had never imagined possible. Looking back, the warning signs appear obvious. But warnings are only obvious in hindsight. Inside the plant, each deviation felt like one more issue that could be corrected tomorrow. Outside it, tomorrow arrived all at once. Now the lingering question hangs over every high-risk facility producing infant formula. When the next faint microbial signal appears, barely detectable, easily dismissed, will anyone treat it as the moment that matters? Because in this industry, danger rarely announces itself loudly. It starts as a blinking light on a screen and grows in the quiet moments when no one is watching.